Deputy President, I too rise to take note of the ANAO's audit of the Australian Government commitment to the Melbourne Suburban Rail Loop East project. Madam Deputy President, there is a sickness in the Victorian Labor Party, a sickness in the Victorian Labor Party and a sickness at the federal Labor Party level too. It's a sickness that seems to affect all Labor governments, because all Labor governments right around the country believe that taxpayer money is not your money. It's not money that you earned. It's not money that you struggled for. It's their money. It's their money to do with whatever they choose, no matter how irresponsible that commitment may be. And this sickness is particularly acute when it comes to infrastructure, and there are no better examples of this than this Victorian Suburban Rail Loop, Melbourne Suburban Rail Loop, the subject of the Auditor-General's report that's been tabled in this chamber today. Now, this report, combined with the report that was previously released by the Victorian Auditor-General, shows irrefutably, shows so clearly that Labor doesn't understand productivity and it doesn't understand using a business case to analyse investment, or it doesn't care that it doesn't use those foundational tools of making good decisions that have fiduciary duty to those whose taxpayer dollars you are spending. It shows that Minister King is just as derelict in her duty to spend taxpayer dollars wisely as her Victorian counterparts, and that is quite a standard indeed. Let me go to a couple of the key points that are contained within the report. In August 2022, the Victorian Parliamentary Budget Office released a cost estimate that indicated that the cost to build the Suburban Rail Loop East would be $36.5 billion, and the cost to build and operate SRL East and North over 50 years is going to be, wait for it, an eye-watering $200 billion. $200 billion. Now, you'd hope that a government that was willing to commit $200 billion to a project had done a thorough cost-benefit analysis. But in September 2022, the Victorian Auditor-General released an audit report on major transport infrastructure project business cases that considered 4 Victorian government transport infrastructure business cases, including the Suburban Rail Loop. And what did it find? Well, that report stated, and it's quoted in the Commonwealth Auditor-General's report, that the business case Department of Transport and Suburban Rail Loop Authority provided to the government for the Suburban Rail Loop program, wait for it, did not support informed investment decisions. Well, that is an extraordinary revelation. It went on to say that the business case only analysed part of the program and didn't fully meet the Department of Treasury and Finance's guidance requirements. DTF has provided substantial advice to government on the SRL program since 2019. However, it is yet to complete the assessment of the business case required under its high-value, high-risk project assurance framework to give the government confidence in its deliverability. Confidence in its deliverability? $2.2 billion we've committed to this. It also stated that the departments did not demonstrate the economic rationale for the entire project. So there's no economic rationale for a $2.2 billion spend, a $2.2 billion commitment that Anthony Albanese made to his mate Dan Andrews. Now, that's unbelievable. Furthermore, the departments confirmed that there was no plan to conduct a business case. When questioned, the Victorian auditor was told that they have told us they had no plans to do so. So even more damning is the Victorian report that found that the benefit-cost ratio of the Suburban Rail Loop was 0.51 when calculated in line with the Department of Treasury and Finance's guidelines. But the Victorian government claimed it was 1 to 1.7. So they've been entirely dishonest here. Now, this is the project that the federal government and Catherine King have decided to commit $2.2 billion to in the 2022-23 October budget. The Commonwealth Auditor-General's report states the minister stated in a media interview that the department would conduct a merit review on all election commitments over $5 million and that projects that don't stack up would not proceed. There is no evidence of the approach the department planned to undertake for the merit review process across election commitment. Minister King has failed in her duty here, and the auditor's report could not be clearer. The decision must be made to cancel this project. Cancel this project today.
Expired.